Alrighty, boys and girls, time for Chapter 10, Section 3, Misleading Graphs and Statistics. Now, before we get too far into this section, there are 3 vocabulary words that we have to review. The first one is mean. Mean is the average. To find the average, you're going to add up all of the numbers in your data set and divide by how many you have. So in the example here, we have the numbers 10, 12, and 17. We're going to add up all 3 of those numbers, divide by 3 because there are 3 numbers, and we end up with an average of 13. The next vocab word we have here is median. Median is the number in the middle after all the numbers in your data set are ordered, least to greatest or greatest to least. Now, if you have 3 numbers in your data set, just like here, the number in the middle is easy to find. However, if you have 4 numbers in your data set where you have an even amount of data, what's going to happen is when you get to the middle, you're going to have 2 numbers remaining. What you do in that case is you use the mean or the average of those 2 numbers. So just add them and divide by 2. Mode. Mode is the number that occurs most often. Now there can be no mode in a data set. 1 mode, 2 modes, multiple modes, doesn't matter. Let's look at the examples. In this set right here, the number that occurs most often is 2. I have a pair of them, so the mode's 2. Here, I have a pair of 2s and a pair of 4s, so I actually have 2 modes. Here, I don't have any numbers repeating, so there's actually no mode. And in this set, I have a pair of 3s, but I have 3 2s. So 2 is the number that occurs most often. The mode is 2. Now, let's take a look at some examples for how mean, median, and mode can be used to mislead us. Okay. Suppose I had 5 students take a test, and the scores were right here, 100, 100, 95, 100, and 3. Now, the mean of these scores is 79.6%. So if someone asked me how these students did on a test, if I said, well, the class average was a 79.6, would that truly represent the data? It is the mean, that's true, but most of the students did very well. 95 to 100%. And there was one student, an outlier, an amount that was very different than most of the other data, and this student only got a 3%. This 3% is dragging the average down way below what these students have. So the mean wouldn't necessarily convey how great these students did, nor would it convey how poorly this student did. If we look at the mode or the median, well, the mode is 100%, and the median, if we put them in order, the number in the middle would be 100% as well. These would better describe how the students did in general. Most students did very close to 100%. It wouldn't describe this one, the outlier, but it would describe how most of the students did. Let's take a look at another example. Okay. Suppose there was an amusement park with 12 roller coasters, and the speeds in miles per hour of each of the 12 roller coasters are in this list. Well, when you look through this list, the only number repeated is 400. So the mode is actually 400. Now, if I were to describe how fast the roller coasters were at the park, and I used the mode and described them as 400 miles per hour, would that really describe what most of these roller coasters are like? Not really. Yes, 2 of them are 400. Yes, the mode is 400 miles per hour. However, 10 of the 12 roller coasters are 12 miles an hour or less. For the most part, they're extremely slow coasters, with the exception of these 2. So here, the mode would not really accurately convey the average, the speed of the roller coasters. Mean or median might be a little bit better in this case. Alright, let's take a look next at how graphs can be misleading. Here we have 2 graphs that show the amount of money saved from January to June. Now, these 2 graphs, when you look at them, if you look at them and you say, wow, which one shows the person saving more money, which one is the person increasing the amount of money at a quicker rate? Well, if you don't really look at the numbers too well, you're probably going to guess this one. it goes up really, really high to the top of the graph. And I mean, look at that slope. It's really going up at a sharp angle. Versus here, it's slow, it's steady, doesn't really get that high, but just keeps moving along. Well, the interesting thing is, these two graphs, they both represent the exact same data. There's no difference. Here, this person, from January to June, only gets up to $18. Here, from January to June, this person only gets up to $18. So what's the difference? Why is this one misleading? Why do we think this one was so much more and got there so much quicker? Well, look at the interval. We go from $3 to $6 to $9, so far going up by 3s, and then it goes 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. It started going up by 1s. The interval from bottom to top changed. That's what affected this graph and made it look different. That's what made it misleading. Here, the interval is consistent, going up by 3s all the way up. This graph looks very different than this one. This one's misleading because the interval is off. Alright, boys and girls, if you understood this, you should be in pretty good shape for this section. I'll see you in class tomorrow.